So guys, I was wrong. Star Citizen is indeed going to try to get Crusader in this year, despite the fact that they've had to remove Levski to save server resources. Many of you guys called me out in the comment section saying that I jumped the gun, and you were right, I did. But I was a bit pessimistic after 2020, and well, we know how that prediction turned out with that last video I did. Boy, that aged about as badly as milk left out in the sun. Anyway, for the first time in about a year, we've gotten a big update to the roadmap going into the next year, going all the way to Q4, and in it are a great many anticipated features. Stuff like new asteroids, drive-in and fly-in caves, mission spawn closets for NPCs, missile operator mode, ship naming, and ship visual degradation and persistence, ship-to-station docking, ship-to-ship docking for the Connie, the Tumbril Nova tank, FPS radar updates, physicalized inventory, update to the radar scanning system so now objects will affect your signature, etc., healing tier 0, vehicle module swapping, small homes and outposts for NPCs at first, limited EVA fuel update with push and pull and 0G and grappling, cutting tier 0 along with salvage tier 0, bombs and space mines, and fire extinguishers for what I guess to be fires on your spaceship, and a bunch of other features that I didn't even mention. But the point of this video isn't to go over every single feature piece by piece. You guys are perfectly capable of looking at the roadmap yourself if you're interested. I'll provide a link down below. Rather, I want to talk about what's missing and also about how I present information on this channel, because I think there's a bit of confusion that I noticed in the comment section of the last video that I did. Just as a quick side note though, the B-roll in this video is actually from the PTU environment 3.12.1, which is likely, judging by its stability, going live this week. And it seems that they have fully utilized the headroom that they've gained from removing Levski because it is running incredibly well. I haven't seen Star Citizen run this well for a very, very long time, so I hope you guys enjoy the footage. It really does showcase what SC is capable of when it runs the way it's supposed to. Before I help you interpret the roadmap a little bit more clearly and go into why iCache and server meshing are no longer marked, I first want to clear up some confusion here on my channel. With very few exceptions, such as with very large publications or huge YouTube channels, none of the YouTube content creators in the community that regularly produce content on Star Citizen have any special knowledge of the project or are privy to any information that you guys don't already have. What I, like many other creators on YouTube, do is collate all the available information into a concise, hopefully easy to understand format with a personal interpretation of that information based on our knowledge from covering Star Citizen for however long we've created content for it. Which means that the videos that I make are mostly my opinion when I'm talking about predictions or what's likely to happen in the future. I don't have special knowledge from CIG about what's going on. It is true though that I do speak to CIG's developers from time to time, and some of them I know pretty well. But they're always very professional about their correspondence with me and never ever reveal something that the community doesn't already know. And even if they did reveal something to me that I wasn't supposed to know, which again hasn't happened, out of respect for them and for CIG, I wouldn't talk about it because I wouldn't want to get that individual fired. And so that's why my informed, opinion-based predictions can sometimes be off. Predictions are by nature opinion, so keep that in mind going forward. Alright, so let's talk about the roadmap a bit here. Now, one of the things that I think you guys should keep in mind about this year is that even though there's a lot of cool stuff on the roadmap, that all of it's marked as tentative, and this is a new thing for CIG. They want to communicate to us that even though stuff's on there, that it may be moved or completely taken off for now. And that basically comes down to them not knowing if they're going to be able to pull that off for that specific time, because there are other things that are connected to it which can be made more clear by their progress tracker, which is why they actually added this in the first place. It gives you a better idea of all the different bits and pieces attached to a specific feature. This means that the Crusader landing zone may indeed still be removed or pushed back from this year's roadmap. Because while they may be trying to get Crusader in, the fact remains that Levski put the servers over the top, so they're going to have to come up with some other cost-saving methods that they haven't already implemented to make the servers run at the tick rate they desire for the 10 events that they're planning on running this year. And this also is fact based on Tony Z's recent live stream that he did over on their Twitch channel. Alternatively, their ongoing efforts to make servers more efficient and perform better could also bear fruit, buying them more time and giving them more resources on the server to add more content. So what I'm saying here, guys, is even though that I'm happy to be proven wrong, I'm still cautiously optimistic about this year, considering the limitations that they've already said the servers are facing. Which leads us to the big question. Why, if iCache and server meshing are so important to Star Citizen's future and content, have they been removed from the roadmap? Well, the truth is, they haven't been removed, actually. They've only been renamed to things that are a little bit more easy to interpret for people who are casual viewers. iCache is a rather difficult term to understand if you're not in the know in the Star Citizen community. So now they're just listing the stuff that is enabled by iCache instead, such as persistent and physicalized inventory on our person, which is coming still as of 3.14, right on schedule, as we expected from what Chris had said last year, which is now in about 5 months, so we've got a little bit of time left before it gets implemented. The other thing to keep in mind about iCache is that, like many other features in Star Citizen, the developers can't just flip a switch and all of the features associated with it work. Each individual feature that's connected to the backend servers that relies on the iCaching system needs to be written into the game on an individual basis. So every patch has actually been trickling this information in this new system. That's why we have a reputation system now that is no longer dependent on the server's memory, but instead on a back-end information server that allows us to track our progress persistently between servers. So really, iCache is already here in some small forms, it's just that we don't have the big features that we've been waiting for just yet that you're really going to notice, such as the server remembering where you are if the server crashes, so that you'll never lose another load if you're running a cargo mission. But the other thing about iCache is it's actually integrally linked with server meshing. It's not server meshing per se, but without iCache, server meshing couldn't work because iCache is in effect the communication between servers. And if you can't communicate between servers with all this information in Star Citizen, then server meshing can't possibly exist because server meshing deals with a client moving from one server to the next and having that data persist. In the current form of the game, it'd be like traveling with a ship full of stuff from one server to the next, and suddenly everything in your ship disappears because there's no way for server A to communicate to server B that you had a bunch of cargo in your ship. Server meshing itself is actually still on the progress tracker if you're curious, and is still slated to hopefully be done by the end of the year, with what looks to be around 8 engineers working on it, though some of these engineers could be working simultaneously on both of these items, so it could be less than 8, and actually likely is. So it looks like iCache and server meshing are still more or less on schedule from when last we were told about them. There's also the fact to consider that iCache is not the only feature that's on the progress tracker that's not on the roadmap, but will be added. CIG have made it clear that they've got some surprises for us this year, and usually they do have surprises for every patch. These are likely the items listed as unknown on the progress tracker right now. And even better, the removal of Levski has seen a very marked increase in performance to the point where, if you've been watching this video so far, you can see that not only the ship AI performed very well, but the FPS AI are actually doing some really cool things, like this guy blind firing over a box at me and actually hitting me accurately, making Star Citizen a really fun and non-jank experience, to the point where I was challenged in FPS combat by these AI. Check out this one instance here where I tried to sneak up and, well, just listen.
There's something.
And that's going from NPCs just standing there and letting you shoot them because the tick rate was practically 0 on the servers. So, I guess we'll just have to say goodbye to Levski for now and trust that CIG are doing good work, because everything indicates that they are. I've been Morphologist, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button, share with friends if you think I deserve it. Otherwise, I hope to see you next time.